So the difference is and this is the pivot that you have to listen to, what pivoting talks about, always listen to your customer. And what we saw was, yeah, it was designed for surgery, and it's way overkill for injectables. But the injectables made my customers happy. It made the people using it, they would walk back into the doctor's office going, oh my God, I can't believe that I didn't bruise.
So the doctors are more incentivized than to use the product.
The doctors are more incentivized. So that's when we pivoted. But then it doesn't stop there. So we started a pivot, but this is where we did what they call the minimally viable program, okay?
What does that mean?
So the minimally viable program in our world is a marketing sheet, which is really basic. It's not spent, we didn't spend like $500 to $1,000 to make it beautiful. We just put out the minimum information. In a program, it's basically, in a program, it's basically the very bare bones of what you think people will care about, not with all the bells and whistles, because you got to figure out if they care first. So in our marketing, so we first go out, and our guy goes out, and everybody's excited. Oh my God, you can really get bruising to go away completely? He comes back, gives a presentation to the board. He's like, it's awesome. These people are really excited about this. 2 weeks later, we're not hearing any response. And we know from past experience, when people see this work, we get emails going, oh my God, I can't believe this worked. And I said to Mark, who is my director of sales, I said, something's wrong. And so we went back, and what we were realizing is, in the cosmeceutical world, in the cosmetic world, people promise that I will look like I'm your age with all the creams and stuff that they have. They're used to being promised stuff that's actually not factually true. So what we did in the next pivot was, okay, we're going to guarantee it. So now we go out and say, we will guarantee that if you use our product and you do an injectable, you will not bruise.
What is that? When you guarantee, what does that effectively do?
It changes the game in our particular world, because when you've been promised the world and nobody's willing to stand behind it, then it changes and puts us into a completely different space. People will be like, you really are willing to guarantee? And we've actually used it now in the Chicagoland area. By the way, this pivot's really recent. It's only like a couple months old. We've used it on, or I should say, so the docs will choose bruisers. So they will go out and go to their patients, and we always have them try three patients, right? And so they will pick out what I would do. I'd pick out my really, really big bruisers. Of 68 people that have always bruised before, 67 of them no longer bruised.
That's a credible return.
Then, and if you think about the stats on that, anybody that's stats, it's a hugely, hugely positive stats. I mean, the stats on there, we use p-values, it's hugely different. And that's why we can make the guarantee. And so we'll maybe give away 1 every 100, doesn't matter. It's so much different. It allowed people to believe us. So we have this first major pivot to go into the injectable world. And then you have all these subtle little pivots. But one of the things I also talked to Mark about is you also have to minimize your risk. Mark, my sales guy, wanted to go out to every single person the first week. And I'm like, no, you go out to 20. The reason you go out to 20 is you limit your risk. When we first went out the first time and didn't have the guarantee, if he'd gone to everyone in Chicago, then we got to go back and say, oh, by the way, now we're guaranteeing it. Whereas if you limit your risk to only 20, figure out what the response is on them, go out to your next 20, go out to your next 20, it allows you to keep iterating as often as you need to.